Brady hits Randy Moss for his 50th touchdown that year. He's the first quarterback to ever throw for 50 touchdowns in a season. That call courtesy of WBCN, Pat's Rock Radio Network. This is primetime on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Courtney Cronin and Gerard Cherry keeping you company on this Saturday evening, reacting to the big breaking news of the day. Tom Brady pending retirement, according to ESPN NFL reporters Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington. Gerard, you played with Tom Brady from 2001 to 2004 over the course of your 9-year NFL career. You have so many stories to talk about here, and I'm just grateful that we have a chance to, have 2 hours here to go through everything. Like, we bring up these moments. We're going to be playing so many highlights on this show about Brady doing things that no one else has ever done before, and that's why he gets that GOAT label. As a teammate, when did you realize that he was going to be that guy, the GOAT?
Yeah, great question, Courtney. And for me, it took a while. It took to 2004 to come to that conclusion. And granted, I was grateful, I was thankful, and I realized that he was great. But when we're talking about the greatest of all time, in my mind, that was still, from a quarterback perspective, Joe Montana. But this is when I knew Tom was going to be that guy. And it happened, get my dates correct here because I have to look this up because the memory doesn't serve me as well as it used to. It was 2004, and it was a Monday night game versus the Miami Dolphins. We were in Miami playing there, so we obviously flew down there. We lost the game in like the last seconds, and the Dolphins came back and won the game. We lost by a point, and if you know anything about football, you know that flying home after a loss, especially that late at night, is just absolutely miserable.
Some high school hoops here on Vermillion, streaming and ESPN 101.5 AM 1570 and online at kvtk.com. What's going to be another exciting afternoon of high school hoops for the DAK 12 NEC clash, and it has certainly been a long morning and now into the afternoon, as currently one game is going on right now here in the auxiliary gym. And it's 50-36 with 5:51 left in the fourth quarter. It's Lennox that is on top of Aberdeen Roncalli. Of course, we're getting you set for Vermillion versus Milbank. That is coming up. Set time for 5:45. Now, again, games have been mostly on schedule, and there's one other game currently going on, and one game to wrap up the DAK 12 NEC clash after the Vermillion Tanagers get underway, but that will be happening in the main gym. We'll be taking a look at the DAK 12 NEC clash here in just a moment, but looking at this matchup coming up here at 5:45, they are becoming familiar opponents, as this will be the third straight year that they have played against each other. That is the Vermillion Tanagers and the Milbank Bulldogs. In fact, you go back 2 years ago when these two teams played each other right here in the DAK 12 NEC clash. The only difference was it was a 5 seed. But it might have been one of the worst games I have seen the Vermillion boys play in my career calling games for them. They look sluggish. They were tired. That game was at 11 o'clock in the morning. Even had players that missed the bus. And again, that was at a point where the Vermillion Tanagers were finding a lot of rhythm 2 years ago. At the time, they were just continuing to move along at 13-3 before they had a bad loss against the Milbank Bulldogs, which then set them on a track to finish overall 15-5 and make that run to the SODAC 16 after they got an upset against Lennox in the second round of the region. But this was certainly a get-right game after that loss. But then you go back less than a year ago where these two teams met, and it was on the way, again, at a SODAC 16 matchup where Vermillion cruised to an easy victory up at the Mitchell Corn Palace, 67-37. And, of course, we remember that game because that was the opportunity that Vermillion finally got the monkey off their back and punched their ticket into the state tournament for the first time in 32 years. But now it comes to this matchup this year. Looking at the tapes and looking at the numbers, this should almost be an easy win for the Vermillion Tangers. But one thing is for certain, you do have to remember the emotions that the Vermillion Tanger boys have been going through in the past couple of games, including some big losses to West Central on Tuesday night, and of course an overtime loss to this Del Rapids team that is currently on the court. So how do the Vermillion boys bounce back going through all these emotions that they have been through here in the past few days, and also another road trip up Interstate I-29? The legs are certainly getting heavy, and again, the boys have been here since about 3:45 or so they have been waiting around, just standing around. There really isn't a good place for them to warm up at. In fact, they've been majority of watching this game here, and again, right now with 4:40 remaining, it's 57-38, but it's certainly going to be a game the boys need to just get right. The Milbank Bulldogs also continue to make a run for themselves coming into this matchup. They are 4-6 overall and just above 40 seed points. As we mentioned, this is also the DAK-12 NEC clash. Historically, it has really belonged to the DAK-12. They've usually flexed their muscle each and every year, and NEC usually gets about maybe 1 or 2 games of a victory. Otherwise, the DAK-12 really dominates, and so far in this tournament, it has been exactly the same. You go back to the games throughout the morning and into the afternoon. The 5-seed Oak Point Jefferson beat Hamlin 72-58. The only win so far for the NEC came against the Tri-Valley Mustangs. That was the 11-seed game, 47-36. Otherwise, the 4-seed matchup, it was T-Area taking care of business against Clark-Willow Lake, 79-51. Also in the 10 matchup, it was Canton all over Webster Area, 80-48. In other action, West Central down the Parkston Trojans, who's not from the NEC, but got asked to be a part of the tournament with a couple NEC teams missing, but it was West Central 83, Parkston 35. Also here in the auxiliary gym, Madison got the win over Redfield by the final score of 74-47. It was Sioux Falls Christian in the main gym that downed Dual 86-55. And as we mentioned, with here in the fourth quarter, 4:17 remaining in the ball game, it's a 17-point lead for the Del Rapids Couriers. Also right now happening in the main gym, Lennox, the 2-seed, is beating Groton Area 17-11 with 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter there. And the only other matchup is the battle of the 1-seeds, and it is the number 1 team in Class A that's also in the DAK-12. Dakota Valley will be taking on Lakota Tech. That begins at 6:30 this evening. Again, the only other matchup not to get underway is this one against the Vermillion Tangers and the Milbank Bulldogs. Again, 2 teams that have seen each other now for the last 3 years. It's also going to be the rubber match, as in the past 2 years, the series is split 1-1, and certainly both teams looking to find a win here on a Saturday evening. I'm Heath Nimke. We got plenty more coming up here on the Core Insurance pregame show on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming, including our conversation with head coach Jay Drake talking about the emotions that his team has gone through in the past 72 hours and how they handled themselves this afternoon. He's on the way in 2 minutes on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, KBTK.com, and Vermillion Streaming.
Machine in Beersford is your full-service quality John Deere dealer. From the latest John Deere combines and tractors to lawn equipment you can count on, Peterson Machine in Beersford will bring you the best value for your dollar, along with professional service and parts to keep you going. Check out the big selection of used equipment as well. Need a hard-working farm hand? Peterson Machine also carries a full line of Polaris ATVs and UTVs ready for the toughest jobs. No matter what the job, Polaris keeps you going. Check the full inventory at petersonmachine.com.
Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregates, and also a full-service dealer for low-gun equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASB track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
Customize your washer for any load and wash the way you want. Industry-first innovation and design lets you remove the agitator to wash a bulky load that needs more space and easily swap it back in whenever you want. It's twice the wash action options and twice the washer you have at home.
Find this and other Whirlpool and Maytag appliances at Merce Appliance in Vermillion.
If you're considering a new roof, you want to put your roof in the hands of Dave's Roofing. Dave's Roofing specializes in residential roofing and has over 10 years of experience. Dave's Roofing covers any job from a 60 to 80 mile radius of Sioux City and has a 10-man crew that completes most jobs in one day. Dave's Roofing will make sure the cleanup job is done right afterwards too. And the products installed are impact rated and eligible for homeowners insurance discounts. Look up Dave's Roofing on Facebook and check out the work that's been done and customer test.
Between the Vermillion and the Bulldog. Joe, Debbie Profrock, Terry Neal, and Russell Olsen are independent insurance agents independently working for you. That's right. Each at Core Insurance have access to many insurance providers, which helps them find you the best competitive rates. Check them out online at coretrustbank.com/insurance. Well, this is now the third time in the past 3 years that these two teams have met up. 2 years ago was right in Pac-12 NEC clash. It was the first game of the morning in the main gym. Now, we're not talking about what happened. Coach Jay Drake, I would say he's an aggressive coach. He can certainly be fired up. He's certainly of disgust after that. Now, we go back to last year. It was a 30-point victory as the Vermillion boys punched their ticket to the state tournament after 32 years. But now this is the rubber match to see who can win this series. The Vermillion boys are also trying to bounce back after an overtime loss on Thursday night and a Tuesday loss against the West End Trojans. Another road trip in the past 5 days. Can Vermillion get done? And what do we expect to see from the Milbank Bulldogs? It's time for our Blaine's Body Shop conversation with head coach Jay Drake. Here he is. Well, Coach Drake, back to Thursday. Warriors. Team now falls to 7-5 overall. And you mentioned it during our post-game interview, and you never like to compare teams, but it seems like some people out there do look back to last year's undefeated team and may have those high expectations for the senior class and this year's team. Do you feel like maybe now there's a monkey off of your back, off the team's back? Not the way this season has gone, but hey, we aren't the same team as them. We're still trying to our own identity, and now this is an opportunity that we can get things turned around heading into the second half of the season. Is that how it's going for your squad, or what is your take on it?
You know, obviously 12 games in here, I think this was a real important stretch for us. You know, we talked a couple weeks ago how we had basically had 51 days in our season and had played 7 games, and then we're going to go into this stretch at playing 7 games in 15 days, and our Milbank game will be game number 6 of that. And through these first 5, EPA, Christian, Garrison, and then the 2 this week with West Central Delaware, I do think we've actually improved as a basketball team. We're showing signs of actually going in the right direction, and you're just really trying to get to the point where you're playing your best basketball of the year at the end of the year. But with that, like anything, we as coaches and these guys as athletes and competitors, want to win basketball games too. So that's been the frustrating thing, especially the way we've lost them. You look at the 2 this week, of our 5 losses, I truly believe all 5 of the teams that we've lost to are top 10 teams in Class A, and I think we're right there in the mix of being a top 10 team. When you get 2 good teams playing, you're going to have a winner and a loser. The tough thing is we've come on the short end. Even if you can grab a couple of them, from a confidence standpoint, you feel a little bit better. Looking back at these, I think the Lennox 1 and 2 this week with Central Del Rapids, there were a lot of similarities with those 3. And just kind of the way all 3 of those ended, and you feel like you maybe have let a couple of those, if not all 3 of them, get away. And there's such a fine line in sports because you look at seasons in all sports and all levels. there's going to be close basketball games, and the way you perform in those games, sometimes you hate saying it, but kind of make or break a season. And you look at it, we won a lot of close games last year and built confidence on that, and kind of just get carried forward. And this year, those games got on the other way. So, if we win 2 or 3 of those that we talked about here, you're sitting at 9-3 or 10-2, and probably feeling pretty good. But we dropped them all, and we're at 7-5, and yet it's the same basketball team either way. We just got to find ways here in this next month to be able to try to close out some games.
Yeah, you talk about this next month, and of course that is so important as well. We talk about the DAK 12 NEC class coming up with our next game, even though still on the schedule, and also some important region games to take care of and get in hand. And I even look back to a couple of years ago where you that 4 seed in the region, and everyone had kind of written you off. They said, wow, this team is basically unstoppable. Yet you went and made it to the DAK team. So take nothing away from this squad. I think there is still a lot that's on the table, and definitely that team, as you mentioned, that no one wants to face when it comes to postseason play. Now, we again, which has had its ups and downs. We know what happened a couple of years ago in the DAK 12 NEC clash that we won't talk about, but last year, I should say, a 30-point victory to make it to the state tournament. How nice is it playing a team that you know so well now?
Well, it really does help, and obviously they're in the same boat, but having it for a third straight year, playing them and having seen these guys, in recent years, when we get in this NEC DAK 12 clash, it's really nice to see some teams from a different area of the state, a different conference, and that conference going up against theirs and seeing how matchups go. But it's also a lot of times teams don't normally get to play in the regular season, and just someone different out of the grind of the DAK 12 in this area and stuff. So with that, I've always had it kind of on this Saturday, and we've usually in recent years been in this stretch of 7 games, 15 days. Last year it was 8 days, 8 games in like 18 days during this stretch. So just from a staff and even from a player standpoint, to at least have a little background on these guys and what they would do. Some of these guys are the same guys. Their best player, the Schwen kid, has been starting for 3 years now. We saw him 2 years ago in the class. Very good athlete, the state triple and long jump champion. And some of these guys are the guys we saw in the semifinal football game too. So just to know them, what they want to do. Is the same coach here all 3 years. They've done a nice job. You mentioned, 2 years ago we were the 6th seed. They were the 6th seed, and we played the early game at 11 o'clock in the main gym. Where we didn't play well and give them credit. They got us by 2, and we had our chances. And then saw them again in the Sweet 16. So back 16 last year, nice win. So just from a scouting standpoint, it's good to know your opponent and a little bit about them going into the game.
Now, going into this game as well, with this long stretch you have been on, we definitely saw, Carter Hansen get some good minutes, so and Robinson. Otherwise, you really didn't go into your bench much against Rapids. Is that something you're going to use against Milbank?
Yeah, a lot of it depends on the matchups. Carter Skogsberg's a kid we played off the bench and kind of get a banger and some little depth inside and stuff. And yet there have been a couple matchups recently just from a personnel standpoint on the other team. I think a few weeks ago, and obviously last night, just with Del Rapids' athleticism and quickness, changed lines a little bit. And this year could help us out a little bit, and like anything, we're usually you're trying to develop young kids, but also you don't want to throw them into the fire too early. And he's done some nice things in the scene this year. He's done very good things in the games, and really nice to see the minutes he gave us last night. I think he played 19 minutes and scored 5 points, got him 3 rebounds for us, and really did some nice things. And I could help with his confidence as a kid. He can shoot a perimeter shot, and it's one we've talked about as a coaching staff and even with players and him down the stretch here. He's a kid we'd like to see be able to get in the lineup or in a rotation. He's got to try to build from last night.
We also talk about this game, we talk about favorable matchups. When it comes to the DAK-12 NEC clash, there is one thing they say. It's usually just the DAK-12 that dominates. And looking at where Milbank is at coming into this game, they also played on Thursday night, 4-6 overall. You're certainly a week ago beating them by quite a bit in seed points. How much do you for both your team into this matchup?
Well, we know whatever it is. We feel confident. We feel we can play with anyone, and we've proven we can play with anyone in our class. We know we've got to play well, though, each night. 32% the game, but we were down free throws. Finally had a chance to get one anyway, shooting poorly. But we've always said we can't bank on how well we'll shoot the basketball, and same thing here. It's Milbank. We have to just play well and play hard. And since this week, I think Central Del Rapids games, they've given a great effort and played extremely hard. We got to make plays down the stretch. So Milbank's team, they beat Clarksville Lake, who's a team that played DeSmet, who is the best team in Class B. And to beat us, DeSmet could play with any Class A team. And Clarksville Lake got beat at the buzzer this year. DeSmet and Milbank got Clarksville. And they've had some games where they've kind of been up and down a little bit, but like anything, that's scary with a team, and they play a lot of seniors. And anytime you get seniors, especially this last month of the year, we expect the same thing with our seniors, but it's kind of one of those things where they realize, hey, that time's dwindling down, and you usually see seniors on all teams kind of get locked in and focused for the home stretch.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. You talk about, we say we're just past the halfway point of this season, but reality is we look at the calendar, in less than a month's time, we are finished with the regular season, and we're getting ready for region play. And that's, of course, you win, you move on, and you lose, you go home. So time to really get focused, get locked down, and take care of business. Coach Drake, go get the Milbank Bulldogs. Our conversation with head coach Jay Drake has been brought to you by Blaine's Body Shop. We're going to step aside on the Core Insurance pregame show, and when we come back, we get you closer to tip and the starting lineups between the Vermillion Rangers and the Milbank Bulldogs and the DAK-12 NEC Clash here on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN 1015 AM 1570 and online KVTK.com.
And that's their motto. Starting a new business.
Electric service with shops in Pierre and Vermillion. We offer a full spectrum of electrical services covering Central, North Central, and Southeast South Dakota. We are licensed, insured, and ready to work on your agricultural, commercial, or residential project. Need a quote? Give us a call. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Sanford Health. Health lives here.
Works together matters. Well, look no.
Electric service with shops in Pierre.
Work after the job is complete. Call Dave's.
Perfect night of sleep can be found with Slumberland's Sleep Solutions Center. Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy all featured. Don't lose another night of sleep. Stop by Slumberland of Yankton. Looking to update the family room? Look no further than Yankton Slumberland, Lazy Boy, Flex Steel Furniture, and more. All at your hometown furniture store. That's Slumberland of Yankton.
Okay, Tanagers fans, it's that time again. Time to bank some noise for this game break with First Dakota National Bank. Give me a B for this much-needed bathroom break. Squeal with delight because your 8-hour pork ribs are ready. Throw your hands in the air because you've been sitting a while and need to stretch. Bank some noise with us at First Dakota.
Open a new account online today at First Dakota.
As we're getting you set for another matchup of DAK 12 NEC Clash here this afternoon. It's the final game here in the auxiliary gym. One other game coming up in the DAK 12 NEC Clash includes Lakota Tech and Dakota Valley, the two 1 seeds. That'll be happening in the main gym. But coming up, a big matchup for the Vermillion boys, just trying to get right. It's the 3rd year in a row now that they have seen the Milbank Bulldogs. Of course, this is a matchup that we saw less than a year ago when it came to the DAK 16, with the Vermillion boys getting a big victory, 67-37, to punching their ticket to the state tournament. Now, this game tonight all determines getting it right once again and getting back into the winning column. The Vermillion boys have not had consecutive losses until it was this road trip this week to West Central earlier in the week, and then an overtime loss against the Del Rapids Couriers on Thursday night. Again, this is the Core Insurance pregame show. Did you know Debbie Profrock, Terry Nielsen, and Russell Olson are independent insurance agents independently working for you? That's right, the agents at Core Insurance have access to many insurance providers, which helps them find you competitive rates. Check them out online at coretrustbank.com/insurance. Tonight's broadcast is also made possible by our Vermillion streaming sponsors, including Pizza Ranch in Vermillion, along with Masaba and Sanford Health. Well, again, we're getting ready for a tip-off that's going to come up just a little past 5:45. Now, all games have been on track so far this evening, except for our last one against Del Rapids and Aberdeen Roncalli. The game just continued to get extended out more and more with some timeouts, but nonetheless, it has been all DAK 12, basically, or I should say for the most part, in this DAK 12 NEC clashes. Looking back at what we have seen so far in game number 1 of the morning that happened in the main gym, it was Elk Point Jefferson that got the win over Hamlin, 72-58. The first game here in the auxiliary gym, it was the Tri-Valley Mustangs, the only loss that DAK 12 has had, that fell to Sisseton, 47-36. Otherwise, receiving votes this week, T area beat Clark Willow Lake 79-51. Also, Canton beat Webster area 80-48. In other action in the main gym, it was West Central that beat up on Parkston, a team that was invited into this clash as they do not fall inside the NEC. But again, West Central got the victory 83-35. It was Madison all over Redfield 74-47. Sioux Falls Christian beat up on Dual 86-55. It was Del Rapids just a moment ago that got the win over Aberdeen Roncalli 63-46. And right now at halftime over in the main gym, it is Lennox that is on top of Groton area by 7 points, 24-17. As we mentioned, Lakota Tech and Dakota Valley coming up at 6:30 in the main gym. And this one was supposed to tip off right now, but we're a little bit behind schedule. But coming up here in just a little bit, 7-5 Vermillion versus 4-6 Milbank. And by the way, while we have a chance, don't forget the DAK 12 NEC Clash continues on going into next week. In fact, they have not quite released the pairings yet, but when you take a look at the standings so far and overall for the Vermillion girls, they fall right now, seed points-wise, 13th. So when it comes to DAK 12 teams is how they go by. West Central is going to be the 1 seed as of right now. They'll officially release the pairings coming up later on this evening. Dakota Valley will be number 2. The 3 seed currently would be Sioux Falls Christian, and Vermillion would be the 4 seed. So you'll be looking at a mid-afternoon game tomorrow that would be happening in the main gym here in Madison. But of course, if you can't make it here to Madison, we'll have all the coverage right here on ESPN Radio and with Vermillion streaming, and what has been a beautiful day as well. Now, usually when this DAK 12 NEC Clash also happens, we're talking about some kind of weather that we had to battle through, either snow or rain that has really plagued the area. But today, it was beautiful skies, a light wind going up Highway 81. But nonetheless, it's going to be an electric atmosphere, and looking forward to this exciting matchup between the Milbank Bulldogs and the Vermillion Tanagers. Again, Tanagers come in tonight's matchup 7-5 overall. The Milbank Bulldogs 4-6. It's the 3rd time these two teams have met in the past 3 years. This series right now is 1-1. We're going to step aside for the final time on the Core Insurance pregame show for 2 minutes, and when we come back, it's our starting lineups and the opening tip between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Milbank Bulldogs on ESPN 1015, AM 1570, KVTK.com, along with Vermillion Streaming.
Threatening Vermillion is ready with all your Tanager gear. Check out their Tanager Pride and Tanager Logo t-shirts. Threatening has USD.
Pup and Pack told me to keep this video simple, so I don't need to tell you about the great selections on drinks. You probably already know he has a South Dakota DMV now kiosk to renew your license plates. Snacks, too many of those to even mention. Oh, and when you fill up that Pump and Pack, Kevin gives a portion of the money back to a charity. I guess I really don't know what to talk about. Simple enough. Pump and Pack in Vermillion.
Let's be real. You have a business to run, people to pay, money to make, and a life to balance. Good thing you also have First Bank and Trust. With our cash management solutions, you can issue payroll, accept payments, and manage cash flow, all while tapping into some of the best fraud prevention tools available. When managing a business is easier for you, so is managing a family. First Bank and Trust. Real banking, real easy. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Saba provides comprehensive.
Hey, I think I'll take the day off.
Is your old furnace talking back to you?
You're flying solo today, pal. I need a little me time.
The Kalen's Indoor Comfort Pros can repair your grumpy old furnace or replace it with a new high-efficiency Linux system.
Yeah, sorry. I just can't seem to move any air today.
We'll see about that. Get a dependable Linux system from Kalen's and start saving today.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact. Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest. So you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
8-1 right now. The NEC looking for another win on this Saturday evening. Welcome back to the Core Insurance pregame show. There for you, ready for anything. That's the motto of your local Core Insurance agents, Debbie Profrock, Terry Nielsen, and Russell Olson. They offer a wide variety of insurance products such as auto, home, life, health, business, ag, and so much more. Request a free quote at coretrustbank.com/insurance. If you're tuning in as well on Madison Streaming this evening, it's great to have you along. I'm Heath Nimke, helping out with the Vermillion Tangers once again. And, of course, also Major is our video operator for tonight. Again, a big matchup between these two teams, both looking to get on the right foot. 48 hours ago, both were playing in a Thursday evening game. Milbank lost their matchup, and also the Vermillion Tangers an overtime loss to Del Rapids, who just got a victory right here on the auxiliary gym. But again, these two teams have now met up for the third time the past 3 years. 2 years ago, it was the 5-seed matchup in the main gym where the Milbank Bulldogs got a 55-51 victory. Now, last year, to go to the state tournament, it was all Vermillion downing the Bulldogs 67-37. A little revenge, maybe not so, but just again looking for a win as Milbank comes in 4-6 overall and just above 40 seed points, whereas Vermillion Tanagers find themselves at 7-5 overall at 41.636 seed points. They're 2-2 inside the region. And when it comes to the DAK 12, they are 2-5. We're set and ready to go for some high school hoops in this DAK 12 NEC matchup. Again, the NEC has only won one game so far. That was the 11 seed matchup where Sisseton beat Tri-Valley. Otherwise, the DAK 12 here in these upper seeds and look at the top 5 and above, has really flexed their muscle and has beaten up all over the NEC. The only other matchup, as we mentioned, yet to come here in the DAK 12 NEC clash is Dakota Valley and Lakota Tech. That will be coming up at 6:30 in the main gym, and there's also Groton area that trails by 7 right now at halftime to the Lennox Orioles. We'll also keep you up to date on that score as well. All right, let's get into our starting lineups for both the Vermillion Tangers and the Milbank Bulldogs.
If you are a Tangers fan, you will remember some of these names from the past couple of years, including one big player of Bennett Schwinn. Now, if you're a Bulldogs fan on the opposite side, these names, a couple of them are familiar, at least one for sure. Otherwise, this is almost a new 5 players out there than what we saw a year ago. Your starting 5 for the Milbank Bulldogs will be number 0, Justice Osborne, the 6-foot junior guard. Number 2, Stevie Ash, the 6'1 senior guard. Number 5, Garrett Mertens, the 6'2 sophomore forward. Number 13, Bennett Schwinn, the 6'2 senior guard. And number 23, Wiley Mersu, the 6'2 senior center for the Milbank Bulldogs. For the Vermillion Tangers, as always, it will be their starting 5 seniors tonight. Number 12, Charlie Ward, the 6-foot guard. Number 33, Jake Jensen, the 6'3 guard. Number 34, Carter Marth, the 6'2 guard. Number 35, TJ Tracy, the 6'2 forward. And number 40, Nick Sorensen, the 6'5 center. Again, all the starting 5 for the Tangers are seniors and looking to get right after 2 losses so far this week, including what has been an extremely busy week for the Vermillion boys and also a long week when it comes to road trips. You go up to Hartford, South Dakota on Tuesday, to Del Rapids on Thursday, and now make the faithful trip to Madison, trying to finish out this week with a win. This is 3 games out of 4 within a week's period for Vermillion, as they will also be back in action, finally back home on Tuesday to take on the Beersford Watchdogs, and it's going to be another busy week as well for us. Again, we'll be back here for the DAK 12 NEC Clash for the Vermillion girls next Saturday. Again, those pairings are going to be released either later on this evening or coming up tomorrow, as girls action from around the state of South Dakota has to go final before the official seed points are calculated and released. This is the 7 matchup of the DAK 12 NEC Clash, and we are set and ready to go. The Tangers and their all-white uniforms, numbers and letters that are in red, will be moving from left to right. The Milbank Bulldogs in their maroon uniforms, numbers and letters that are in gold, outlined by black. And by the way, if you are a football fan, these two teams saw each other during the semifinals, where it was the Milbank Bulldogs, the 7 seed, taking down the 3 seed Vermillion Tangers to make it on to that state championship game inside the Dakota Dome. The Milbank Bulldogs begin with the opening possession with Schwinn. They swing it over to the far wing now with Mertens. Back to the top, and they go from wing to wing. First 15 seconds have eclipsed here in the opening quarter. Now a wing 3 from the right side is off the mark. Ball being tipped around. They say last touch off of the Milbank Bulldogs will go out of bounds. Justice Osborne was trying to get the O board. 0-0, 7:38 first quarter. Charlie Ward, who averages just over 15 points a ball game, had himself another big night on Thursday, and that overtime loss controls it. He has it in the wing, kicks it to the top now with Jake Jensen. Jensen drives, bounce pass, TJ Tracy tries to get the reverse layup. Coming in from behind, it's Garrett Mertens who will commit the crime, and Mertens will pick up his first personal, and the first team foul. It will also send TJ Tracy to the free throw line. Tracy, oh so close to averaging double figures so far this season, 9.8. Free throws have been a struggle for Vermillion as of late as well. Tracy misses the first one, so the Tangers begin 0 of 1. Score still at double zeros. Second free throw for Tracy gets this one to go. It's the first point of the ball game, and Vermillion leads it 1-0. 7:20 first quarter. The press is on in the backcourt. The Bulldogs with Schwinn still has it. Pressing tempo, makes the bounce pass up to Justice to break the press. Now underneath, reverse layup, getting it to go. With an open look is Bennett Schwinn for his first 2 points of the ball game, and the Milbank Bulldogs lead it 2-1. Sorensen inside the lane, puts up the right hook. This one falls through after it hit the back of the iron, front of the iron, and Vermillion leads it 3-2. 6:50 first quarter. Press is on once again. Bounce pass as they get it up to Wiley. Now over to Osborne. To the right side with Mertens. Now work it to Schwinn. Back to Wiley, just beyond the elbow. Back to the top. It's Osborne. Straight away has it. Kicks it to the left wing with Mertens. Mertens trying to find some space. Nothing doing so. Back out. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Schwinn realizes. Drives now, kicks back out. 3-pointer. This one goes, and a foul is called. count the bucket from Justice Osborne. A three-pointer and then a foul that will go against Nick Sorensen. And the Milbank Bulldogs lead it once again 5-3. And with the foul on Nick Sorensen, the first team foul, it will give it back to the Milbank Bulldogs. Again, three-pointer counts. So Milbank trying to extend this to more than a 2-point lead. It's Schwinn who has it in the coffin corner. Kicks it back to the top with his teammate with Ash. Working down to Riley. Back to the top, Bennett Schwinn. This one's off the front of the iron. Picked up by TJ Tracy off the hardwood. Charlie Ward quickly the opposite way for Vermillion. Ward to Jensen. Jensen has to pick up his dribble. In the lane to Sorensen. Backing his way in. Spin around, and he will travel. Turnover, Vermillion. 5-3, 5:52 first quarter. Again, the Milbank Bulldogs come into this matchup 4-6 so far this season. When it comes to overall, with the seed points, find themselves in the 34th position. So quite down there in the standings. But for the Milbank Bulldogs, they have seen a couple common opponents, including Lennox, who they lost to begin their season, actually, 67-50. But another interesting game is the Milbank Bulldogs lost to Del Rapids just by 2 points. A shot that went wild off the mark for Garrett Mertens. Here comes Vermillion the opposite way. Again, Vermillion on Thursday lost in overtime to Del Rapids. Had to make a big comeback, though, in that matchup. The ball is knocked out of Jake Jensen's hand, and then contact is made as he had to chase it down the backcourt, trying to bring it back up the near sideline, fouled by Stevie Ash. It will be his first personal, the second team foul. And now Ash will come out of the basketball game, and Kellen Hokie, the 6-foot senior guard, will check in for the first time tonight. 5-3, 5:20 first quarter. Charlie Ward pass over to the near side with Jensen. Down to the low block. Sorensen leaves his shot short. Rebounded by Mertens. Mertens quickly up to Schwinn. Hops like a bunny now, puts down the dribble. Still Schwinn inside the lane. Pull-up jumper for him. This one's off the mark. Rebounded by Jensen. 5-3, 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. It's Charlie Ward who has it on the left side. Back to the top with Jensen. Fakes the pass, shoots the straightaway three. This one rims in and out. Mertens gets another defensive board, his second of the ball game. Quickly the opposite way. Now it's Hokie for the Bulldogs. Again, dribble it out, close to the timeline. Now kick it back to his teammate, Mertens. Mertens, the right-handed drive, back out to Osborne. Osborne to Schwinn, 2 feet away from him, trying to get to the Wiley inside the lane. This one's going to be knocked away by Tracy. Opposite way, here comes Tangers. Pull-up jumper for Jensen. This one is off the mark, and rebound by Wiley. Reach and foul called against TJ Tracy. That's the one thing that Tracy finds himself in trouble with this season. Always a silly foul that he doesn't necessarily need to give. Now Bennett Schwinn will come out of the basketball game, making way for Carson Weber, the 5'8 senior guard. So Coach Diety for the Milbank Bulldogs has head to his bench now twice. Vermillion has yet to make a substitution. Pass that was deflected in the air, but Bulldogs retain possession. Floater is missed, but right back up is Garrett Mertens on the offensive board, and Mertens easily throws it back up and in. 7-3. It's a modest 5-0 run the Bulldogs are currently on. Three-pointer on the wing. This one is off the mark once again for Jake Jensen as he cannot hit a shot yet. Bulldogs lead it by 4, 3:48 first quarter. It's Osborne. Drives baseline, picks up his dribble, kicks it back out, top of the key, three-pointer, swish for Kellen Hokie. First points off the bench for either team. It's a modest 7-0 run. 10-3, 3:39 here in the first quarter. It's the Milbank Bulldogs that so far have always seemed to find luck against Vermillion Tanagers in this DAK 12 NEC clash. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by our corporate sponsor, First Dakota National Bank. Choose a local bank who supports your dreams. First Dakota National Bank offers you personal, business, or ag banking services. Since 1872, they've offered you the hometown touch complete with unmatched customer service. They know you, your family, and your dreams are the heart of your financial choices. Let's dream together. Make it First Dakota National Bank. It's a 7-0 run that the Milbank Bulldogs are on. They now lead it 10-3 with 3:34 here in the first quarter. Jake Jensen into the lane with Sorensen. Back out. Jumper is up, and this one is off the mark, but a foul is called. 10-3, 3:30 first quarter. Charlie Ward will inbound the basketball. Get it to Sorensen. This one's deflected away. And a turnover for Vermillion. 10-3, 3:20 first quarter. Now bounce pass over to Osborne. He almost lost it behind his back, but able to recover. Back to the top now with Weber. Weber to Schwinn. Schwinn bounces off the shoe of Jensen. Collects at the circle. Over to the left side now with Osborne. Osborne, spin at the elbow with 7 seconds to shot clock. Back out to Weber, over to Schwinn. Schwinn drives baseline, reverse layup is too strong. And Tangers come away with the board. Quickly the opposite way, it's Charlie Ward. 10-3, 2:45 first quarter. It's Jensen. Jensen drives to the low block. Contact is made. He can't finish off his shot, but is fouled and will head to the free throw line. It's now the fourth team foul on the Milbank Bulldogs. The first one that comes against Wiley. And again, Jensen to shoot free throws. Vermillion so far tonight is 1 of 2. First free throw is up, and Jensen gets it. It's the first points for him of the ball game, as he's been shooting quite a bit, but just has not found his shot to fall yet. Robinson is into the game. Carter Skogsberg's into the game. Carter Hansen is into the ball game. Carter Mart, TJ Tracy, Nick Sorensen all take a spot on the bench. A light crowd for both Vermillion and for Milbank tonight. Second free throw is good for Jake Jensen. Again, the trip, a little over an hour and a half for the Vermillion Tanagers. I believe right about that same mark for the Milbank Bulldogs as well. Over in the corner, it's controlled. Kick it back to the top with Osborne to Weber. So we're seeing a little bit of the bench play now. It's Hokie above his head. Bounce pass once again to Weber. To the corner now with Mertens. Mertens, left hand, over to the corner, wide open three. This one is off the mark for Hokie. Jensen quickly the opposite way, drives the lane, scoots by one defender, and is able to lay it up and in. Jensen now has 4 points in the ball game. Tangers find themselves on a little bit of a 4-0 run. It's 10-7, 2 minutes remaining first quarter. Mertens trying to look for Schwinn. Now just use his left hand to dribble it wide. Kick to Hokie. Pick up his dribble. Guard closely by Carter Skogsberg. Back to Mertens. To Weber. Pump fakes the move. Now will take the jab step in. Back out to Osborne. Now to Hokie with 7 seconds. Hokie down to the low block. Using the glass. Too strong. Rebounded by Hansen. Hansen over to Jensen. Quickly the opposite way. It's the Tangers. Jensen drives in. Puts up the floater. Gets it to go. Jake Jensen on a 6-0 run for the Tangers. It's 10-9. A 1 point lead. Are we going to get a stoppage in play? Or was a timeout used? Was official timeout? As on the far corner, tying the shoe was Mertens. They say it was instead a coach's timeout by head coach Didey of the Milbank Bulldogs. Now, Mertens was bending over trying to tie his shoe, but when timeout was called, came back to the huddle and never made a motion to go back to tie his shoe. So he either fixed it himself while he was still out there before the timeout, or did it quickly while we weren't paying attention. 10-9. Here in the first quarter, the Milbank Bulldogs have surrendered a 6-0 run to Jake Jensen and the Vermillion Tanagers, and Vermillion is right back into it. So both teams have dipped into their bench slightly with using a timeout. 1:20 remaining in this first quarter. The DAK 12 NEC clash, the matchup right now of the 6 seeds. Picked up by the Bulldogs. Over in the left corner. Trying to drive baseline is Hokie. Nowhere to go. Has to kick it back out deep. Almost stolen away. Did it go over and back? The officials say no, it didn't. 4 seconds in the shot clock. Schwinn realizes. Schwinn just pulls up, and his shot is left short. And Vermillion the opposite way quickly. Once again with Jake Jensen. Jensen bounces it off the foot of Mertens. A little pass to Skogsberg in the lane. Skogsberg draws a double team, but is able to finish it off the bench. Points for the Vermillion Tanagers belong to Connor Skogsberg, who I believe forgot his shoes at home, but was able to recover. He is wearing new shoes for tonight. 11-10, Vermillion is on an 8-0 run. They take the lead back. Schwinn trying to get by Skogsberg. Falls over, misses the shot. 17 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Charlie Ward will bring it across the timeline. You talk about Skogsberg forgetting his shoes. Luckily, nobody missed the bus like they did 2 years ago. It's Ward. Now to Jensen. Jensen, the lane. Jumper. This one's off the mark. Wiley gets it, but no time to put up a shot, and that is the end of the first quarter. It's Vermillion 11, Milbank 10. We're going to step aside. We're back in 60 seconds here on Vermillion Streaming, ESPN Radio, and Madison Streaming.
Hard isn't for the weak-hearted. You're the first one to punch in and the last one to clock out. Every project, every day, your hobbies are no different. Miles of scouting, hours of planning, one split second with everything on the line. Can you trust your equipment? Work or play, Runnings has the gear you need to be the first one out there and the last one to leave. The farm, the field, or even at home, Runnings has what you need.
Fuller Digital Solutions started small, but now we're growing as FDS provides live streaming coverage for over 20 schools across 3 different states on our Fuller Digital Solutions YouTube channel. Subscribe to get notified when we go live for your school events. Big events are captured live, and your business can get noticed with advertising during our live streams. Local talent and camera operators are encouraged to contact us too for future employment. No experience necessary. We will train. For information about advertising or working with Fuller Digital Solutions, email us and follow us on Facebook.
The Vermillion Tanagers end on an 8-0 run to wrap up the first quarter. And after quarter number 1 here in this DAK 12 NEC clash of the 7 seeds, it's Vermillion that leads it 11-10. In fact, it's been a game of runs so far as Milbank went on a 7-0 run of their own to make it 10-3 before, again, that Vermillion 8-0 run that technically they are still on as we begin the second quarter. Great to have you along here on Vermillion Streaming, Madison Streaming, and also with ESPN Radio. It's Mertens, kicks it over to the near corner, down to the baseline, underneath the hoop, trying to back his way in is Schwinn, and is able to finish it off. Bennett Schwinn, such a tough player, now has 4 points in the ball game. Finally snaps that 8-0 run the Tanagers were on, and it's back to a 1-point lead for the Milbank Bulldogs. It's over to Carter Mart on the left wing. Switch it to the opposite wing now with Sorensen. Back to Carter Mart once again. To Sorensen once again. The lane has it knocked out of his hand. Battle for it. Goes out of bounds. They say a last touch by Stevie Ash, and it will stay Vermillion basketball. Ash can't believe that it was last touch on him. He thought it went off of Nick Sorensen. 6:58. Second quarter. 12-11. A 1-point lead for Milbank. Charlie Ward gets it into Jake Jensen. Down to a block. Contact is made. A lot of pushing. And a foul against Milbank. It will be their 5th team foul. And it will also be the second foul now on Wiley. 6:55, second quarter. Reset along the baseline. Ward triggers the inbounds pass to Jensen. Back to Ward. Back to Jensen. Catch and shoot 3 for him. This one is off the mark. And quickly the opposite way. It's the Milbank Bulldogs. It's Osborne. Down to the block. Shot up by Wiley. Is blocked from behind by the Tanagers. 12-11, 6:34, second quarter. It's Jensen. Jensen almost has it knocked out of his hand. Recovers. Back to the corner. Ward, 3-pointer. This one is off the mark. And a rebound by the Bulldogs. Milbank presses up to Bennett Schwinn now. Schwinn, the left-hand dribble, gets it back to Mertens. Mertens over to the corner. It's with Ash. Ash back to Osborne. Milbank has used a majority of their shot clock. As they're doing on this possession once again. To Wiley in the lane. Pump fakes over to the corner. 3-pointer for Osborne. This one's off. Controlling it. Over to the corner now is with Osborne. Back to the top to Mertens. Mertens at the block. Spin in the lane. He can't get a shot to go. Bennett Schwinn is battling underneath and will go back up with his shot as Jake Jensen hit the hardwood, his defender. Jensen is coming up slowly as he moves into the front court. 14-13, 5:50, second quarter. It's a back-and-forth affair here in this second. Again, Vermillion led it by a 1, 11-10. Floater for Charlie Ward is off to mark. TJ Tracy, an offensive board, goes up with his shot. Do they count the bucket? They do count the bucket. 14-13 with a TJ Tracy tough shot there. And again, trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. And with that, TJ Tracy now with 3 points in the ball game. Jensen, after it looked like he may have rolled his ankle slightly, comes off for the first time tonight. Checking on is Zone Robinson. Heading to the free throw line once again. TJ Tracy, where he's 1 of 2, and will hit this free throw. 2 of 3. Tracy now 4 points in the ball game. 16-14. Vermillion has never had this big of a lead, which is weird to say, of just 2 points. Schwinn, guarded closely by Zone Robinson. Now to Mertens. To the elbow, back to Mertens. Mertens the left elbow, down to left block. They kick it out to recently checked on Joe Shutley, the 6'4 sophomore forward. 7 seconds. Schwinn drives in once again, knocks over Sorensen, puts up his jumper and gets it. Bennett Schwinn is starting to take this one over. All 6 points for the Bulldogs here in this second quarter. We're tied 16 apiece as we're halfway through the second. Robinson. Now to Sorensen. Sorensen has it knocked out of his hands. Follows to the hardwood to get it back. Still getting up is Sorensen to Carter Mart. Cart at the elbow. This one's missed, but another offensive board for Sorensen. 4 guys around him. He goes up with his shot. He is fouled. It's the 17th foul now on the Bulldogs. Good job by Nick. Seeing all the bodies around him. Had no outlook for a pass, so just went back up with it strong. And the foul will come against Stevie Ash, picking up his second personal. Riley Mersu isn't also in foul trouble for the Bulldogs with 3 already. Now Stevie Ash with his second personal. First free throw, gets it to go, is Nick Sorensen. Sorensen now with 5 points in the ball game, 1 of 1 from the free throw line this season. Has not always been the best of Nick Sorensen. 15 of 36 coming into tonight's ball game, just under 50%. Second free throw, gets him to go. Both of them. 6 points for Nick Sorensen, and it's just back up to a 2-point lead for the Vermillion Tangers, 18-16. It's with Weber. Now get to Mertens. Contact made in the lane. Foul called on the Tangers, just their 13th foul. Jake Jensen will come back in the ball game. Coming out will be Carter Mart. By the way, the foul was on TJ Tracy, now picking up his second personal, so he's in slight foul trouble for Vermillion. 18-16, 3:33, second quarter. Controlling with it is Hokie. Now they get it over to the corner with Joe. Joe, guard closely by Nick Sorensen, and now head coach Dahdy of the Milbank Bulldogs will want a timeout. 18-16, 3:22, second quarter. We will take the timeout with them. We're back in 60 seconds here on ESPN Radio, Vermillion Streaming, and Madison Streaming.
Your invitation to thrive in Yankton, South Dakota. Nestled on the bluffs of the Missouri River, plenty of outdoor adventures are waiting. Whether you work remote or in a traditional office, we have a spot for you. Quality healthcare, diverse manufacturing, progressive school system, Mount Marty University, and so much more. Explore with family and friends. Let's thrive together.
Clay County Abstract and Title Company has a complex job that boils down to something very simple: helping you purchase your dream with confidence. When investing in a new home, a new site for your business, or piece of property, you want peace of mind that the property is truly yours. Clay County Abstract and Title Company has been doing just that since 1946. Clay County Abstract and Title Company, proud supporters of Vermillion activities.
Bulldogs have it with Mertens trying to force a pass along the baseline that will go out of bounds. Last touch by Bennett Schwinn. But again, this is the matchup of the 7 seeds of the DAK 12 NEC Clash. one other game that is currently going on with 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. It's going to be Lennox that gets the win over Groton area. Right now that score is 55-45. Three-pointer. This one falls through for Jake Jensen as he pumps his fist. Now 9 points for him in the ball game. 21-16, a 5-point lead. It's the biggest lead that the Tanagers have had over the Bulldogs. Mertens to Hokie. And, oh my goodness, that one is headed for Brooke Jensen, who plays for the girls basketball team for Vermillion. As Mertens thought his teammate was over there. There was nobody over there. And again, out of bounds. Quick turnover for the Bulldogs. 21-16, 2:40, second quarter. Of course, the Lady Bulldogs and the Lady Tanagers will be in action coming up next week. It's with Carter Hansen. Now down to Nick Sorensen. Sorensen, floater up for him, is good. 23-16, 2:15 here in the second quarter. Three-pointer for Hokie. This one is off the mark. Ball is being knocked around. And it's off the mark. Here come the Tanagers the opposite way with Carter Hansen. Bounce pass down to Zone Robinson. Robinson to Jake Jensen. Three-pointer for him. This one is off the mark. And it's picked up by Garrett Mertens. Mertens will have it knocked away as he tries to force a pass to Bent Schwinn. Jake Jensen has his shot deflected away. And now it's Osborne. Osborne to the left wing. Will dribble around back to the top, over to Hokie, three-pointer. This one goes. A big three-pointer from Hokie as he now has 6 points in the ball game. 23-19, 1:20 remaining in this first half. It's Charlie Ward who will get it across the timeline. Down to the free throw line, turnaround jumper for Jensen. Trying to fight for his own rebound, gets it back. Lot of contact, no foul called. 23-19, 1:05 second quarter. It's now to Osborne. To Mertens. Mertens will dribble it back to the top of the timeline to use some of the clock here with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Now over to Osborne. Osborne inside the lane, using the right hand. Doesn't get it to go strong enough. Jensen coming back the opposite way. It's 12 seconds that separate the shot clock from the game clock. Knocked away as Jensen drives. Osborne works over to Weber. Weber drives in, leaves his shot short though, and with a rebound, Vermillion has enough time to hold on for the last second shot, but a foul is called against the Milbank Bulldogs. It's now their 8th foul, so 1-1 on the bonus is upcoming. The foul as well goes against Weber. That will be his first personal. 23-19, 33 seconds remaining in the second quarter. First free throw for Nick Sorensen. He gets it to go. Nick Sorensen now has made all of his free throws. And with that, gives him 9 points in the ball game. 24-19. Second free throw is up and gets this one to go. So Nick Sorensen so far perfect. 8 points in this second quarter as well from him. 25-19. 25 seconds and rolling. The Bulldogs have it. Trying to drive in, down to the low block, kick it back out to the corner. Hokie, three-pointer, this one off the mark. Offensive rebound, Schwinn goes back up with it. The shot does not count as there's a foul against Jake Jensen before the shot. Jake Jensen will pick up his first and the 4th team foul. Coach Dowdy did not like that call as Schwinn was able to hit his shot. 16.5 remaining in the first half. Trying to inbound. Mertens will now get it to Hokie. Hokie drives up with his shot, but a foul called as he went up with it. The foul called against Zone Robinson. Robinson will pick up his first personal in the 5th team foul. It is a shooting foul, so we'll send Hokie to the free throw line to shoot a pair. Again, talk about Kellen Hokie, the 6-foot senior guard playing off the bench, has come in with some big minutes already and some big points. 7 now for him off the bench. It's also the first free throw attempts the Milbank Bulldogs have had. The second one is off the mark. 25-20, 8 seconds remaining in this first half. Straight away, three-pointer. This one off the mark for Charlie Ward, but it's an offensive rebound by Carter Hansen. He went right back up with it, missed it. He had time. The half-court heave is off the mark for Mertens, and that is the end of quarter number 1. It's 25-20. Vermillion leads it by 5. We'll step aside for 3 minutes, and we'll take a look at the first half statistics. That comes up in 3 minutes on ESPN Radio, Vermillion Streaming, and Madison Streaming.
Olson, owner of Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. I grew up here, graduated here, and now have a business here. I'm proud to serve the community that has helped me live this dream. I have top-notch equipment, the latest in training, along with a work ethic and the desire to serve you. Should you need repairs in the future, please remember Blaine's Body Shop across from Polaris on the Highway 50 bypass in Vermillion.
Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Now online at blainesbodyshop.com.
At Knutson Family Dentistry in Vermillion, they strive to provide the highest quality patient-centered dental care in a friendly, relaxing atmosphere. Knutson Family Dentistry works hard to provide the best cosmetic, general, and emergency dental treatment in the area. With over 50 years of combined dental experience, the latest dental technology, and a professional and compassionate staff, they're your top choice for dental care. Call for an appointment at 605-857-8008. Knutson Family Dentistry of Vermillion.
Vermillion is ready with all your Tanager gear. Check out their Tanager Pride and Tanager logo t-shirts. Thread and Ink has USD Coyote gear too. They custom print apparel, do built-to-order laser engraving, embroidery, promotional items, signage, and much more. Thread and Ink Vermillion is locally owned, and customers give them 5 stars on their Facebook page, so you know you can trust Thread and Ink to fill your order with the perfection you deserve. Good luck from Thread and Ink Vermillion.
Masaba of Vermillion, South Dakota is now hiring for full and part-time positions with day and evening shifts available. Masaba provides comprehensive training in a state-of-the-art facility with a clean and safe work environment. We offer competitive starting wages and an interesting and fun work culture. If you are self-motivated, accountable, and eager to learn new skills, we would love to have you on our team. For more information, visit masabainc.com/careers.
Most new systems today, it's important to remember to maintain the warranty. You need to show proof of service. Things that you can expect from Larry's Heating and Cooling Comfort Care Club are prompt, timely service, 2 maintenances, and respect. If you ever have an issue, from Lennox to Carrier and everything in between, we're there for you. For any inquiries about our pricing, feel free to call us at 1-800-491-9461. Anytime, any day.
We're a little bit different here at Vermillion Federal Credit Union. See, unlike banks, we're a member-owned not-for-profit institution, meaning members like you are the owners, and the profits are returned through better fees and lower rates.
Hey you, down in front!
And since our members are our owners, we exist to serve you and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible here. So come on in and act like you own the place, because you do.
Open your free checking account today. Vermillion Federal Credit Union.
super duper important. Hold the grown-up's hands. Put a helmet on because you might hurt your head super duper bad.
Protect their future by protecting yours with your local State Farm agent, Dick Sunday.
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like WeatherTech floor mats, access roll-up truck covers, bed liners, remote car starters, and thousands of other products. Hey, you can look at everything at your convenience online too at carlsonsbodyshop.com. No wonder the song says,
Bring it down to Carlson's Body Shop, your complete car care center.
On West Church Street in Vermillion.
42-31 as we head to the fourth quarter. It's the Vermillion Tanagers that lead it by 11 entering this final frame of the ball game. It's Jake Jensen who has it to Nick Sorensen, back out to Charlie Ward. Again, Ward is the only starter not to score for the Tanagers. Sorensen goes up with his shot and continues to add to his season high. Now 18 points for the ball game. Also matches a career high as well for Nick Sorensen, 44-31, 7:35 fourth quarter. Milbank Bulldogs, who use a lot of the shot clock, really need to get things going here quickly in this fourth quarter. It's over in the left side with Bennett Schwinn. It's been the standout player once again for the Bulldogs. Goes up with a shot, foul called on Jake Jensen. And with that, Jake Jensen now picks up his fourth personal, the fourth team foul, and Schwinn will shoot two. Again, Bennett Schwinn, the leading scorer, tied along with Justice Osborne for 12 points. Now, Osborne had 9 of his 12. That came in that third quarter with 3 threes. Free throw is off the mark for Bennett Schwinn. Has also been a little bit of a struggle so far for the Milbank Bulldogs. Again, coming into tonight's action, 4-6 overall. So this technically is called the halfway point of the season, even though this last month is going to go by extremely quickly. Second free throw is also off the mark for Schwinn. 44-31 to Sorensen once again in the lane. Back out to Carter Mark to TJ Tracy. Tracy trying to work it down to Carter Skogsberg, but this one's stolen away by Garrett Mertens. Now up to Schwinn. Schwinn dribbles it off of his foot. Ball is loose. A couple bodies hit the hardwood. It stays with the Bulldogs, and more contact made as Charlie Ward ran over Mertens. So Ward will draw a foul. It's the fifth team foul now on the Vermillion Tanagers, the first against Charlie Ward. Again, Ward is the only starter for the Vermillion Tanagers not to score. In fact, he's the only Tanager besides Carter Hansen not to score that has seen action so far tonight. It's Schwinn. Schwinn works it over to Mertens, and Mertens is going to travel as he tries to make his move past TJ Tracy. 44-31, 6:47 fourth quarter. Again, Vermillion led it at halftime, 25-20, was able to really open it up early in that third quarter as they went on a 7-0 run to get things underway. It's Robinson to Carter Mark, now over to Charlie Ward. Ward to TJ Tracy, back to Charlie Ward. Sorensen at the free throw line to Carter Mark. Fakes the jumper, back to Robinson with 12 seconds on the shot clock, and then Robinson is going to travel. Turnover for Vermillion. 6:23 fourth quarter. Right now in action, it has been nothing but the DAK 12 over the NEC. In this clash, they lead the series right now 8-1. With this game going on, right now going to make it 9-1, and then the other one coming up later on this evening in the main gym between Dakota Valley and Lakota Tech. In fact, that one is just underway. We'll see if we can't get you a score update on that one. It's Ward, pull-up jumper for him. This one is off the mark. Again, Charlie still looking for his first points. Now the Milbank Bulldogs, top of the key. Three-pointer, this one goes. Big three-pointer for Stevie Ash, giving his first points of the ball game. 44-34. In the backcourt, takes deflection and stolen away by the Milbank Bulldogs. Now, Osborne, three-pointer. Contact made, no foul called on his fall away. He needed that three. Again, he's got 12 points for the ball game. 44-34, 5-13 fourth quarter. Charlie Ward picks up his dribble down to Nick Sorensen. Sorensen in the lane, goes up strong and gets it to go once again. Nick Sorensen has been unstoppable in the paint. And now a timeout called. 46-34, exactly 5 minutes remaining in the ball game. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. As this is the DAK 12 NEC Clash. We're back here in 60.
Math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Dakota Realty and Property.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new home, or your family is growing and you need to sell your existing home, or you're a student moving to an apartment, Dakota Realty and Property Management has home listings for families as well as apartments. Being locally owned and with over 150 years of combined experience, they have the connections to find the home that will fit you. Go to Dakota Realty and Property Management at 125 East Cherry Street, Vermillion, because they like what they do and they will work for you. Dakota Realty is a proud supporter of Vermillion Athletics.
Vermillion Medical Clinic.
46-34. So we're at 5 minutes exactly left here in the ball game. The Vermillion Tanagers on top of the Milbank Bulldogs. Go back 2 years ago, where it was Milbank who got the win in this DAK 12 NEC Clash, the matchup of the 6 seeds. And then last year, to make it to the state tournament, it was Vermillion that dominated the Bulldogs, 67-37. And right now, Vermillion has continued to add to their lead here in this fourth quarter. Shot up by Bennett Schwinn, not boxing out properly is Robinson, and a foul call. Then Schwinn will head back to the free throw line. Robinson has gotten quite a bit of playing time here tonight, with Jake Jensen spending a majority of his time on the bench picking up some fouls. And his main goal has been to shut down Bennett Schwinn. 46-34, again, 6-team foul. Fixing something at the scores table. Nonetheless, Schwinn shooting 2 here, where he has struggled. Finally gets this one to go for his first free throw of the ball game. He's now 1 of 3. And with that, Schwinn now makes it 11 points for the ball game. 46-35. Second free throw. This one is off the mark, being tipped around. Robinson saves it from going out of bounds. Charlie Ward will have it as he brings it across the circle. Again, here in the auxiliary gym, DAK 12 NEC Clash coming up next Saturday. Where the Vermillion girls will be in action, most likely in the main gym. As of right now, they stand to be the 4 seed. Vermillion number 2 inside Region 4. TJ Tracy to Robinson. Back to Charlie Ward with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Ward almost travels, makes a last second pass to Tracy, and somehow is able to go up with his shot and get the fall. TJ Tracy with now 9 points in the ball game for him, 48-35. It's a 13-point lead. In fact, this is the biggest lead the Tanagers have had of the ball game. Mertens pull-up jumper at the free throw line, off the mark, and Nick Sorensen continues to dominate on the boards inside. And Vermillion just going to be able to work more and more of this clock, trying to get out of Madison in the DAK 12 NEC Clash with a much-needed victory. Again, this has been a long road trip. 4 games in 7 days as well for the Tanagers. Robinson goes up with the little runner, and Zone Robinson scores. And with that, he now has 8 points for the ball game, 50-35, 3:20, fourth quarter. Bennett Schwinn drives, has the ball knocked away, picked up by TJ Tracy. And you have to love the hustle effort once again from the Vermillion Tanagers and getting it done. Trying to find a much-needed win on this extended road trip. As Ward drives, he is fouled, and 2 free throws upcoming in Ward, trying to finally score here, where he has done nothing but struggle. I guess, you know what, you couldn't even say Charlie Ward has struggled. I shouldn't say that tonight. He just hasn't shot a whole lot. Been more of the assist man, which is great to see from him as well. First free throw is good for Charlie Ward for his first point of the ball game. And now, Zone Robinson and Carter Mark check out the ball game. Jake Jensen is back in, along with Carter Hansen. 51-35. Second free throw is good for Charlie Ward. 2 points for him. And you really don't need Charlie Ward to have a big game. Don't need him always to go get 15 when you have players like Nick Sorensen who are getting it done inside tonight. And that's really the look that has been there. Of course, Charlie Ward more of an outside shooter. Three-pointer from the corner. This one is knocked down for Mertens, who's given some big assists here in the ball game. Just finds his 5th point of the night. Pass down to Sorensen, as we mentioned, and now reaching in, foul called. It is the 8th team foul, so 1-1 upcoming. The foul is also on Jackson Woodleg, the 6'2 sophomore, so it'll be 1-1 upcoming for Nick Sorensen. Commentators curse maybe. He's 4 of 4, which is, again, rare to say for Nick Sorensen. He historically struggles from the free throw line. Make it 5 of 5. The man just can't miss today. Good to see for Nick Sorensen. Again, coming into it, he was 15 of 36. And he will tell you, he was the first to tell you that his free throw shooting has never been his strong suit. And finally misses his first one. But 21 points on the night. That is a season high, career high as well for Nick Sorensen. Certainly going to be our Latte Da player of the game. Getting it done inside the lane. A pass stolen away by Jake Jensen. Jensen quickly the opposite way. Gets Mertens to jump. Has his shot still deflected. Now pass to Tracy. Jump ball is going to be called in the lane. Possession arrow favors the way of the Bulldogs. 2:13, fourth quarter, 53-38. Nonetheless, the Bulldogs are going to fall to 4-7 overall. And inside this DAK 12 NEC clash, it will be the DAK 12 9-1. Vermillion will also be on a 2-game win streak and the DAK 12 NEC clashes. Last year they played Redfield in the main gym, and they were able to get a successful victory there as well. That was a 62-35 victory last year. On the 1-1, first free throw is up for Mertens. Gets it to go. He'll get a second opportunity. Mertens with that now has 6 points in the ball game, 53-39. Second free throw, this one is good as well. So Garrett Mertens, 7 points for the Milbank Bulldogs, 53-40, 2 minutes and rolling. Jake Jensen over to Carter Hansen. And Vermillion, of course, just going to work as much of this clock as they can. Get back on the bus and be happy about their victory driving in. Charlie Ward is fouled from behind on the drive by Mertens. No, excuse me. They call that instead on Joel Schulte picking up his second personal. Or was it called? On Mertens. The officials held... Oh, they were saying a 1-1. I'm sorry. As Joe is out there. But Mertens does pick up his fourth personal. And on the 1-1 attempt, Charlie Ward continues to hit from the free throw line where he's now a perfect 3 of 3. 54-40. Second free throw. This one's good. So all points for Charlie Ward from the charity stripe. 55-40. 1:45, fourth quarter. It's Mertens. Escapes from TJ Tracy and is able to hit a big 3 as he got Tracy to fall over for a moment. 10 points now for Garrett Mertens, including 8 of his 10 here in this fourth quarter. Tracy now has it. Had an open look at 3, but of course he's not going to take that. Just wants to work this clock. Charlie Ward with 18 seconds in the shot clock. It's over to Carter Hansen. Hansen back to Jake Jensen. 13 seconds. 1:13, fourth quarter. Jensen at the circle logo. Jensen gets a screen from Sorensen. Now over to Ward, who drives baseline, goes up with his floater, can't get the go, and it's going to be rebounded by Hokie. And a foul called against TJ Tracy as he was reaching in, went over the back of Hokie to get it back. It's the 8th team foul, so 1-1 upcoming It's also the third personal on Tracy. 55-43, 102 fourth quarter. Or no, are they going to change this? They go to the scores table and change it now. Oh, wow. They call a foul instead on Hokie instead of Tracy. So flip it around, and we're going to have double bonus upcoming. The officials get together one last time to confirm, and then another official goes over to talk to Coach Deide of the Milbank Bulldogs. He can't believe it. And it will instead not be Tracy shooting the free throws, but Jake Jensen. So free throw is good. So there must have been a boxing out called against Hokie of Jake Jensen instead of TJ Tracy, where Jensen hits the first free throw, and with that, now giving him 10 points in the ball game. His first points of the second half. He hits both free throws now for 11 in the ball game. 57-43. Bit of a weird sequence there. And now Mertens loses his dribble. Fighting for it back is Nick Sorensen. Jump ball is called, and it will be possession arrow with the Vermillion Tanagers. So they'll get a fresh shot clock. Joe Schulte will check back on. Mertens will check out of the ball game. Good effort for him, especially in this fourth quarter. Now, again, 10 points in the ball game, 8 of his 10 here in this quarter. Finally inbound to Jake Jensen. A foul given immediately to Hokie. He can't believe it. And again, we're beyond double bonus, so 2 free throws upcoming for Jake Jensen just to continue to extend this 14-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. 57-43, 53 seconds remaining here in the ball game. First free throw, this one is good for Jake Jensen. As we mentioned, a good victory for the Vermillion Tanagers and Milbank Bulldogs. Will fall to 4-7 overall. And the other DAK 12 NEC Clash game that is going on, that includes Dakota Valley taking on Lakota Tech. We'll see if we can't get a score update here in just a moment from that one. And here it is, 26-15, as they're 2 minutes into the second quarter. Driving, finishing off at the glass is Mertens, now giving him 12 points in the ball game. It is 2 seconds that separate the shot clock from the game clock, and a travel against TJ Tracy. So give it back to the Bulldogs, who aren't going away. They're trying to finish this one off. Giving maximum effort, but again, trailing by 14. 59-45, 30 seconds. It's Mertens over to Osborne. Osborne, step back 3, misses everything. Hokie, though, underneath the collect. He misses his shot, gets back his own offensive rebound, and a foul called against Nick Sorensen, who tried to block it away. Sorensen will now pick up his third personal foul. It's also the 8th team foul on the Vermillion Tanagers. And now head coach Jay Drake is going to head to the bench and also call a timeout. 59-45 with 20 seconds remaining in the ball game. As we mentioned, 26-17, 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Dakota Valley leads it over Lakota Tech. Otherwise, for the DAK 12 NEC, if you're just tuning in, Elk Point Jefferson beat Hamlin 72-58. Sisseton has gotten the only win for NEC, 47-36, as they beat Tri-Valley. T-Area beat Clark Willow Lake 79-51. It's usually big scores as well that the DAK 12 wins by. Canton beat Webster Area 80-48. It was West Central on top of Parkston, who's not an NEC team. Still, nonetheless, West Central 83, Parkston 35. It was Masson that beat Redfield 74-47. Sioux Falls Christian beat Dual 86-55. It was Del Rapids that got the win over Aberdeen Roncalli 63-46. And also, Lennox handed Groton Area their first loss of the season by a final score of 62-52. 59-45. Final seconds tick away. Free throws are upcoming for Hokie here in just a moment. For the Milbank Bulldogs after this timeout from head coach Jay Drake. And don't forget, coming up on the First Dakota National Bank postgame show, we'll catch up with head coach Jay Drake. First free throw is good for Hokie. With that, he now has 8 points in the ball game, his first point since the first half. Second free throw, this one's up and will go as well as it hung there on the front of the rim for just a moment. 59-47. Bulldogs are still giving an effort. Finally give it up to TJ Tracy. No, ball is being knocked around. Finally picked up by Hokie and the Bulldogs. It's another quick turnover. Hokie drives in, and another made shot, and a quick timeout from head coach Brady. 59-49. Milbank right now is going to say, let's try to make a comeback. And it's not going to happen, but again, you love the effort. With 4.9 remaining in this game, and needing 10 points. And again, also coming up with this, always a special presentation here inside the gym. There's the DAK 12 NEC Clash Player of the Game. They announced the Player of the Game after each and every one. Earlier, we got to see that Braden Panconen of the Del Rapids Couriers got that award for Del Rapids. And again, talk about who's going to get it here for the Vermillion Teenagers. It always goes to the winning team as well. It will be Nick Sorensen. Sorensen, again, 21 points for him in the ball game. He will certainly be our Latte Da player of the game. Has dominated inside, been able to finish off his shots, and also defensively and offensive boards as well. Great effort by Nick Sorensen. And again, you look at maybe some of the other bigger names for Vermillion. Jake Jensen, Charlie Ward having themselves a little bit quieter of an evening, but it's good to see it when you can get Nick Sorensen going underneath inside, and give a lot of credit to Nick as well, being able to finish off his shots. All right, here we go. With 4.9 remaining in the ball game, Tangers leading it by 10, 59-49. Hansen to inbound. They get it to Sorensen. Sorensen to Jake Jensen, and there we go. That will be ball game. Jensen pump fake the three, was not going to shoot it no matter what. But again, in the DAK 12 NEC Clash, the DAK 12 now improves to 9-1 here on this Saturday morning into the afternoon. And now the night session, your final score, the final game from the auxiliary gym between the 7 seeds. It's Vermillion 59 and the Milbank Bulldogs 49. We are going to step aside for 2 minutes, and when we come back, we're going to join with head coach Jay Drake, take a look at the final scoring, and a little bit more, all coming up here on the First Dakota National Bank postgame show on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming.
Your washer for any load and wash the way you want. Industry First Innovation and Design lets you remove the agitator to wash a bulky load that needs more space, and easily swap it back in whenever you want. It's twice the wash action options and twice the washer you have at home.
Find this and other Whirlpool and Maytag appliances at Merce Appliance in Vermillion.
If you're considering a new roof, you want to put your roof in the hands of Dave's Roofing. Dave's Roofing specializes in residential roofing and has over 10 years of experience. Dave's Roofing covers any job from a 60 to 80 mile radius of Sioux City and has a 10-man crew that completes most jobs in one day. Dave's Roofing will make sure the cleanup job is done right afterwards too. And the products installed are impact rated and eligible for homeowners insurance discounts. Look up Dave's Roofing on Facebook and check out the work that's been done in customer testimony.
Your order with the perfection you deserve. Good luck from Thread and Ink, Vermillion.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. So why do they play?
My reason why is friendship.
Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Masaba of Vermillion, South Dakota is now hiring for full and part-time positions with day and evening shifts available. Masaba provides comprehensive training in a state-of-the-art facility with a clean and safe work environment. We offer competitive starting wages and an interesting and fun work culture. If you are self-motivated, accountable, and eager to learn new skills, we would love to have you on our team. For more information, visit masabainc.com/careers.
A long week of road trips concludes with a much-needed victory. Here in the DAK-12 NEC Clash, the Vermillion Tanagers get the win over the Milbank Bulldogs by a final score of 59-49. Love the fight. You love the hustle from the Milbank Bulldogs to finish this one off. But again, unfortunate for the Milbank Bulldogs. They now have dropped to 4-7 overall. And don't forget, coming up again next week as well, we will be back here once again. Only difference is we will be in the main gym where the Vermillion girls will be in action. Now, the opponent still yet to be determined, as they will release those official pairings coming up tomorrow, as girls action yet to finish tonight. Then the seed points will officially get determined, and then we'll see where Vermillion falls and who they'll be facing. Right now, it looks like it'll be a mid-afternoon game for the Vermillion girls. They are currently the 4 seed when it comes to the DAK-12, but that I don't think will change, but it just might. They'll either move down to 5. I'm pretty certain they will stay at that 4 seed spot, and again, we'll find out who they'll be playing coming up tomorrow. Here in action for the Milbank Bulldogs and the Vermillion Tanagers when it comes to final scoring. For the Milbank Bulldogs, 4 different players get into double figures, including Justice Osborne and Garrett Mertens, both finish with 12 points in the ball game. Bennett Schwinn, along with coming off the bench, Kellen Hokey, both finished with 11 points in the ball game. Otherwise, Stevie Ash hit a 3-pointer in the 4th quarter, and that was the only scoring. But again, Milbank Bulldogs had 4 different in double figures. For the Vermillion Tanagers, they had just 2 in double figures, with 2 getting close. Jake Jensen finished with 12 points, 9 points from TJ Tracy, 8 points for Zone Robinson off the bench. Otherwise, 4 points for Charlie Ward, all coming from the charity stripe in that 4th quarter. Carter Mart had 2 points, along with Carter Skogsberg in the ball game. But most importantly, 21 points from the big man inside himself, Nick Sorensen, with 21 points on the ball game. It was also a season high for points and a career high points for him. And he, of course, is our Latte Da player of the game. Make every morning a great morning with a great cup of coffee from Latte Da. Stop by the drive-thru window or give Sandy a call for your cup of coffee for that perfect order. Make it Latte Da right across from the North Complex in Vermillion. Final score, 59-49. We'll step aside for one more 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, it'll be our Blaine's Body Shop conversation with head coach Jay Drake of the Vermillion Tanagers. That's on the way next here on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming.
Hi. Service with shops in Pierre and Vermillion. We offer a full spectrum of electrical services covering Central, North Central, and Southeast South Dakota. We are licensed, insured, and ready to work on your agricultural, commercial, or residential project. Need a quote? Give us a call. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Sanford Health. Health lives here.
Todd's Electric, your night of sleep can be found with Slumberland Sleep Solutions Center. Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy all featured. Don't lose another night of sleep. Stop by Slumberland of Yankton. Looking to update the family room? Look no further than Yankton Slumberland, Lazy Boy, Flex Steel Furniture, and more. All at your hometown furniture store. That's Slumberland of Yankton.
Okay, Tanagers fans, it's that time again. Time to bank some noise for this game break with First Dakota National Bank. Give me a B for this much-needed bathroom break. Squeal with delight because your 8-hour pork ribs are ready. Throw your hands in the air because you've been sitting a while and need to stretch. Bank some noise with us at First Dakota. Open a new account online today at firstdakota.com, member FDIC.
Vermillion.
It's the First Dakota National Bank postgame show here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, along with Vermillion streaming as the Vermillion boys get a big victory, a much-needed victory as well, with this extended road trip that they've been on Tuesday up in West Central, Thursday against Del Rapids, and now here in Madison for this DAK 12 NEC clash. The final score 59-49, and now joined with head coach Jay Drake. Our conversation brought to you by Blaine's Buy Shop. Coach, you breathe a sigh of relief. How nice does this feel for the guys giving another hustle effort and just to get back into the win column?
Yeah, you hit it on the nose right there with just happy to get a win for our guys. It's in a sense, it seemed like it'd been forever. When you think about it, we beat Garrettson last Friday night. Won 2 of our 3 last week, but just the way the 2 games went earlier this week, it's good for these guys. And it was a grind again tonight. And we never make things look very pretty or easy. Even at the end, I think we got it to 17, and in all honesty, it probably should have ended up right around 19-20, and you just finished the game at both ends. We didn't. That's why we took that last time out, just to talk to our guys about finishing plays, finishing the game. Being consistent through, whether it's in hand or not at the end, being able to, but with that said, it's just happy for these kids to finally get a W. And we've talked about maybe the pressure they're putting on themselves, and give Milbank a lot of credit too. They're a scrappy group. We talked in the pregame. It's 3rd straight year we've seen them now, and they've kind of been up and down this year. And their record, falling to us now is I think 4-7. But with that said, they played Del Rapids to a 2-point game. Yeah. They beat Clark Willow Lake by 10, and Clark Willow Lake obviously had to submit on the run this year. So I can see how they can play teams and be right there. The Schwen kid's a heck of an athlete and can score a little bit, and they got just enough guys on the perimeter that can throw in some threes here and there, and they did. I thought a couple times. Obviously, the first half wasn't pretty, but we're struggling offensively against their zone a little bit. But I think it was 25-20. We can live with their 20 at least. Like to score a few more points. But second half got it moving a little bit. But I think we got up 12 or 13 right away early in the second half, which was nice to get some separation. But then we lost the Osborne kid a couple times for threes, and just like that, it's right back to 6. And those are the things we've talked about as a team and throughout. Those are, I don't want to call them lapses because that's part of the game. But you get a team on the ropes by up 12-13 early second half. That's where you got to kind of try to step on them right there and maybe push it to 15-16. And instead tonight, again, it went the other way. But with that said, we'll take the W, and we got better this week. You go 1-2, but the way our 2 games went with West Central, Dells right there against very good basketball teams, and then to finish off the 3rd game in 5 days, 6-12 now, and like I said, on Tuesday it'll be 7-15.
Looking at what we saw tonight, Nick Sorensen has not only a season high but career high 21 points. Why did it work so well for him inside tonight?
Well, he was aggressive. I think 2 things, and that was, he had a huge second half. I think he had 10 at halftime, but we talked to him at halftime in our group. He still wasn't aggressive in the first half even. He could have had more. He catches it in there. He can make moves. He can go up and score the basketball, but he's looking to pass too much out of there at times. And the other thing is he knocked down free throws tonight, and that helps. We kind of laugh at it, but he's shooting right around 50% on the year. And, he's a kid that should be able to get us double digits in points every night, but you got to knock the free throws down, and he can be right around in double digits from a rebounding standpoint. But we looked for him. He did good things in there. He finished around the basket. And, it helped, too, when we got the number 23, Mersu, in foul trouble.
Yep.
They had to bring some younger guys in and some thinner guys. Mersu was trying to bang him around a little bit, but that helped, obviously.
You get Beersford coming up now on Tuesday. Of course, Beersford used to be a DAK 12, but it's also a region opponent, so still a very big game.
finally being back at home. What do you know about the Watchdogs, and how does it feel finally being back home in the Birdcage?
Yeah, again, it's like we just played a week ago. Garrettson at home, and yet it feels like it's been forever. Okay? And that's kind of how this week is with the double headers on Tuesday, Thursday, and those are kind of longer trips with West Central, Del Rapids. They get to be late nights. You're getting back. Yeah. They seem even longer when you lose the way we did this week.
Yep.
But really, from a coaching staff standpoint, we'll break down stuff tomorrow on Beersford and look at it and get these guys a scouting report on Monday on them. I know that Coach Smart, I believe, is a new coach this year, so it's a new program for those guys. They've been hanging around, giving teams games and stuff, and like you said, it's a region opponent. And we told our guys this is a huge stretch, kind of to try to set us up for the stretch run in February. Was these 15 days to see where we're at after these 15 days, and they've worked hard, done a good job for us. We said they can have one day off tomorrow, just go relax, watch some NFL football, watch both conference championships, be ready to go on Monday, and we'll try to finish off these 7 games in 15 days on Tuesday, and then we can finally just kind of catch our breath, be able to get some good practices in, because we really haven't had good practices due to our games. You can't do a whole lot in between days and stuff, so but just to be able to get some practices in and get ready for the stretch run.
Who's going to make it to the Super Bowl?
I just told our guys I'm going with, and this is more my heart, and I'm a Broncos fan, so it doesn't matter, because whoever gets it this year, they might as well just appreciate it, because when we get Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a Broncos for the next 2-3 years. But the Niners and Bengals is who I'm going with. I think anybody else in the world would say no, but this would actually, I don't know how many Super Bowls there's been, probably 55, 56 we're on now, but this would be the 3rd time it would be a Niners-Bengals Super Bowl. I think it was 81 or 82. I remember as just a young tyke watching the Bill Walsh and the Niners-Bengals play. Then I think it was like early 90s. The Joe Montana-led drive hit John Taylor, I believe, and he said, hey, there's John Candy in the crowd before the last drive. And now about 30 years later, we're going to get another Niners-Bengals matchup. And Coach Brooks will like that, too. He's a big Niners fan.
He truly is. There he is. Coach Drake, appreciate it as always. You have a safe trip home, all right?
Thanks, Heath.
There he is. Jay Drake, our conversation brought to you by Blaine's Body Shop. Man, oh man, it's certainly an interesting choice. Nothing to go against Coach Brooks or Coach Drake, but I'd say the Rams and the Chiefs. Of course, I'm not a Chiefs fan, but a huge Andy Reid fan, longtime head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I will preach to this darn day that the Eagles should have never gotten rid of Andy Reid. Just because you have a couple bad seasons as a coach doesn't mean it's time to get rid of you and get rid of the ship, and now we see why we shouldn't have, but nonetheless, we save that argument for another day. We just leave Madison happy as the Vermillion boys advance to 8-5 on their season in this DAK 12 NEC clash. The final score 59-49. Before we leave you again at halftime, Dakota Valley leads it over Lakota Tech. The score is 43-27. Otherwise, it has been nothing but the DAK 12 here in this DAK 12 NEC clash. Right now, they lead it 9-1. The only loss for the DAK 12 was Tri-Valley. They lost to Sisseton 47-36. Again, one last time, Elk Point Jefferson beat Hamlin 72-58. It was T Area that beat Clark Willow Lake 79-51. Canton over Webster Area 80-48. West Central down Parkston 83-35. Madison beat Redfield 74-47. Sioux Falls Christian over Dual 86-55. Del Rapids beat Aberdeen Roncalli 63-46. It was Lennox that handed Groton Area their first loss of the season 62-52. And the final game in the auxiliary gym 59-49, where Vermillion gets the win over Milbank. One other final note we leave you. We are busy once again coming up next week, especially when it comes to the girls' side of things. What we all have coming up for next week is we're back home finally in the Birdcage for a doubleheader against Beersford. Pregame action begins right around 6 o'clock. And then the Vermillion girls in action on the road as they take on the Sioux Falls Christian girls. Again, just that one game that comes up at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And then right back here in Madison, just in the main gym, the DAK 12 NEC clash for the Vermillion girls. So if you don't plan on traveling Thursday and Saturday, of course, we'll have all the action on ESPN 1015 AM 1570, online at kvtk.com, along with Vermillion streaming. Otherwise, take care of yourself. Have yourself a wonderful rest of this weekend, as it's supposed to be nice and sunny once again tomorrow. You have been listening to Vermillion Athletics on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming.